Happy Monday, indie gamers! Good to see all of you back, and for those new faces, welcome! Each week we break down some news in the indie world as well as a couple of our favorite releases of the week. This week we take a look at some accusations regarding stolen content, as well as an interview with a small dev regarding what he would do with a AAA studio. I'd hate to keep you all waiting, so let's dive right in. I'm your host Nick Gallo, and welcome to this week's Indie Recap. Season 8 of Apex Legends hasn't even released yet, and controversy surrounding it has already begun to brew. Earlier this week, EA released a sneak peek of what's to come in Season 8. All seemed well with reveals of new content and characters until indie development company Nawa noticed someone a little too familiar. The sneak peek featured a soon-to-be playable character named Fuse. This rather unique character instantly caught the eyes of Nawa, forcing them to make a sharp claim that Apex Legends had ripped off their character in Bulletville, Nawa's current project. Featured here is a side-by-side comparison of both characters. As you can tell, Hunter, the main protagonist of Bulletville, does share rather defining characteristics. Both are one-eyed gunslingers who wield their weapon with a robotic arm. It also doesn't help the case that both seem to have a stripe of white running down the front of their hair, as well as skulls on the belt and a necklace around their neck. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is clearly stolen content or just a mere coincidence? Let us know in the comments below. Game Rant, another fellow news and review site, had the chance to speak with Michael Ziegler, creator of upcoming pencil-drawn horror game Mundaun. The interview brought some great insight to the creation of such a beautiful title, but what we found especially interesting were the questions regarding large-scale development. When asked if anything would be different with a larger budget and team, Ziegler responded with, "Sure, there's always things I would like to change and improve, that never stops. Mundaun is a reasonably big game with quite a lot of systems. There could always be more time and money spent on any one aspect of the game. I have many more ideas for places, characters, and enemies, but those are the things that would just take up too much of development time. So there comes a time where one just has to say, okay, that's it. That's the game. No more adding to it. I don't know if that would be different with a bigger or larger team." When asked about his dreams if he ever had the opportunity to work with a AAA studio, he responded with, "I love games that go for a large-scale world. I've always been fascinated by big open worlds ever since they first emerged. So that would be something I would try to do and take on, but have a scenario that is fresh. I have sometimes fantasized what a Mundaun could look like on a bigger scale when I looked over the valley. And I imagine that I could go for a drive anywhere that my eye can see. Take a train. But the world is full of unique places, people, and stories. I would try and spend more development time on fleshing the world out instead of creating the most realistic graphics or animations. Take a AAA budget in studio, but don't spend it on the usual AAA things, but on things that matter more to me." While all these hopes lie in the hands of future success, Ziegler did note some positives to smaller development. "I think the biggest advantage is to be able to spontaneously try and let ideas while already prototyping. I imagine there is a lot more coordination from the very start with bigger teams and games. I don't like to take a blank sheet of paper and write in detail what I'm going to do. My way of working, no matter what I'm doing, is to try things quickly and practice. I think this freedom of letting a game grow organically could potentially yield some interesting and unorthodox games. We wish you all the best, Ziegler, and we look forward to trying Mundaun when it releases." This week, we at Zealot News drive focus towards upcoming title Pecaminosa. The in-development indie RPG has you play as protagonist John Souza, the disgraced ex-detective who tries to find redemption by helping the ghost of a dead mobster enter heaven. This fun concept mixed with lots of space to move has our ears perked. From gambling to corruption, this indie title hits all the marks of a lawless town. Accompanied by a smooth jazz soundtrack, look for Pecaminosa to be released in Q1 of 2021. Now I know what you all have been waiting for, and don't worry, we have you covered. Let's take a look at our top releases of this past week. Roll those trailers.
Today, we fight for our Genesis brothers and sisters. Today, we stand as the last shred of humanity. Today, we will win or die for the sake of our own freedom.
What an amazing selection to close this week's Indie Recap. We put a lot of effort into providing the info on the latest news and releases, so feel free to help us out by pressing that like button. To get instant updates, feel free to follow our Twitter @Zealot News, as well as checking out our website. With that being said, I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I will look to see you all in next week's Indie Recap.